Hey, welcome in, everybody. We are now scrapping the health news segment on the Healthcare Rewritten podcast. And we're doing this thing every single day, Monday through Friday, where we're going to go through health news. We're going to go through things that we're seeing on social media and basically debunking what we're seeing and talking all truth about healthcare, health politics, anything that you send me, basically. So this is something that Lena and I decided is going to work best because it's going to keep the news more recent. What we were experiencing was when a podcast was released, we would record the podcasts about a week early. So when news would come out, it would be 7 to 10 days old. And we don't want to do that for you guys. We want to make sure that we have current and up-to-date news so we can give you our opinions and our perspective when it's relevant. So that's why we're doing this new segment here where you can tune in on your drive to work in the morning. You can listen to it on your drive home from work or anytime in between there. But it's going to be breaking down different topics that you guys send me. And we're going to start diving into that right now. So here's what Lena sent me today. Actually, it was last night. She sent me a TikTok video. Okay, and I promise you all of the videos and news that we're going to go over aren't going to be TikTok videos from random people. But I feel like this is a good way to start off this series. And it was a TikTok video coming from this guy. He was in his mid-20s. He was diagnosed with Crohn's, which I also have Crohn's. And he was basically talking about how he was on this medication called Remicade, which basically suppresses your immune system. And he was getting infusions every 2 months, and he was basically excited that he did not have to make any lifestyle or dietary changes. He just had to take that medication, and he was in remission. He went on then to say that Crohn's disease cannot be cured, and because it's an autoimmune condition, and that is true. And I'm going to have a lot of disagreements with what he is saying, but I'm going to make sure that I'm reading all of this out to you so you have good context here. A couple things that he said. He was blessed that he found this drug early. He said that his mom also was diagnosed with Crohn's and had parts of her colon removed. He also mentioned that Crohn's is something that needs to be managed, and remission is the only way to achieve that. What else did he say? He said that he credits the drug, right? He credits the drug for getting his life back, which I can agree with to some extent. And then on top of that, he feels like a normal human being again, which is the most important part of that TikTok video. He feels human again. When you're diagnosed with an autoimmune condition and you're really going through it, especially when you're going through flares that sometimes last 3 to 4 months, you can feel completely drained, and it feels great no matter what you do to get a part of that livelihood back. Where I run into some problems, okay, and I want to be super clear on this. He does not understand that you need to make sure that you're making lifestyle and dietary changes when diagnosed with an autoimmune condition to stay in remission. Okay, drugs work and they stop working. He even mentioned that in his video. He says, oh, I tried this drug, and then I finally found this one, and this is the one that worked. And he's speaking in the present time, so I'm going to be honest with you. If he keeps this up and doesn't make any changes, probably going to notice that it's not going to work down the road. That happens with most patients with immunosuppressants. Just speaking from experience and what walks through my clinic doors. Okay. But the mindset is really wrong, right? He thinks that Crohn's is something that you just need to manage forever with medication. There's nothing else that needs to take place. And that's where, if you listen to our show, you listen to what I say, I completely disagree with that. First of all, the drug itself shuts off your immune system. That is the equivalent of your house being on fire and you just unplug the smoke detector. Okay, if your body is screaming at you, I say this all the time, if your body is screaming at you and your body talks to you via symptoms, if you just shut off those symptoms or turn down the volume on those symptoms, you're never really going to actually understand what your body's trying to tell you. And in the case of autoimmunity, in the case of Crohn's disease, your immune system basically cannot regulate itself. Your immune system is hyperactive. It doesn't know what's good and what's bad. And it attacks your own tissues, causing intestinal inflammation in the gut lining. Crohn's isn't caused by an immune system that's strong. Although people think, oh, hyperactive immune system is a good thing. No, it's an immune system that's completely weak, an immune system that doesn't understand how to communicate with the rest of the body. It's disconnected. I talk to all the time about the microbiome. The microbiome is the most important part of addressing immune system issues, whether that's Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, rheumatoid arthritis, Hashimoto's, lupus, autoimmune disease in general, eczema. If your immune system can't function, you need to take a look deeper. You need to take a look at the microbiome and all those microbes that break down your foods. They turn them into these short chain fatty acids that help to regulate this immune system response. They help to regulate those T regulatory cells, those white blood cells that help communicate with your immune system on what should be functioning and how often and how high. And people don't hear about that. You go to the doctor with a bunch of symptoms, your life is basically hell. You don't know where to start. You don't know where to turn. Maybe you've made some lifestyle or dietary choices. Maybe you haven't. And at the end of the day, you know what? It felt great. Okay, fine. A medication sounds good. At that point, I would do anything. I would do anything to get rid of that inflammation. And sometimes that's what people resort to, and they feel like that's the only thing that they have left. That's the only thing they can fall back on. And when they fall back on something like that, they feel like they have to stay on that thing forever. Now, again, I'm not anti-medicine, but I'm anti-blind trust in medication. And there's a long list of side effects that these anti-inflammatories, these immunosuppressants have. And that's what scared me. That's what scared my parents. I remember my parents sitting down with me after talking with their friends who know a little bit more about medications and side effects of these drugs. And my parents didn't even know at the time. And they're like, Colin, do you know what these drugs can do to you? I said, yeah, I actually had to have a whole appointment with a pharmacist, basically breaking down the side effects and agreeing to what I'm taking. Here are a couple of them. Serious infections, including pneumonia, tuberculosis, and sepsis. Increasing the risk of lymphoma and other cancers, especially in young men. And ironically, this video that I was shown, I can link it below. I don't want you guys to hate on this person. It's their perspective. But he was a young man, again, in his 20s. Can obviously cause liver injury, signs of heart failure, can trigger lupus-like symptoms. This is a big one because, like I said, if you do not address the immune system while having an autoimmune condition, sure, you can put those symptoms into remission. That Remicade might be great at suppressing your immune response enough where you're not noticing any GI symptoms, but your immune system isn't just one facet. There's so many other pieces to the puzzle that your immune system can speak to you. Your skin, your metabolism, your energy, so many different factors, your thyroid. And what happens if you are on if you have an autoimmune disease and you just treat the symptoms and you don't address the actual immune system component, you can have another autoimmune disease pop up. Happens all the time. Patients come into my office, they say, oh my goodness, I had Hashimoto's basically since I was 20, and now I'm 45, and I was just diagnosed with ulcerative colitis or rheumatoid arthritis. And I always ask them, I said, okay, well, when you were diagnosed with an autoimmune condition 20 years ago, what was your doctor's plan to address your immune system and get that under control? The answer was nothing. The answer was suppress the symptoms and move forward. This Band-Aid approach is absolutely destroying us. What else do we want to talk about? So I rambled on here for a bit. That's probably what I'm going to be doing. This is new to me. This whole sitting and talking, recording on my own, it's new. Typically, Lena and I are bouncing back and forth with conversation, or we're on lives, TikTok lives, Instagram lives, Facebook lives, and I'm interacting with questions. So it's more of a back and forth thing that I'm used to. But this is a whole new journey for me. I'm really excited to rip off the Band-Aid and start this. You're going to have to, work through the kinks with me as I practice speaking to a camera on my own without any feedback at all. So if you do have feedback, definitely comment down below. I highly encourage you check out my social media, my Instagram, my Facebook, my TikTok. I do post short clips. So if you're more into the short form content, 1 to 2 minute videos about health news, things going on with the Make America Healthy Again movement, things in politics, new research that's come out. I have those in more bite-sized pieces. If that's something that you want to listen to, you can definitely listen on those platforms. But if you like listening to me yap on for a while, this is the platform for you. Then I'm not going to put this on YouTube. I don't think. I think I'm just going to keep this on Spotify, but we will see. Again, if you want to send me news, if you want to send me something that you want me to break down, whether that's a TikTok video like this, it's a news article from CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, a research article that just came out, published in JAMA, wherever you're getting your news from, send it to me. I'd love to read it, break it down for you, give you my perspective, not only as a perspective from a holistic health care practitioner, but someone who has dealt with an autoimmune disease and is currently in remission from an autoimmune disease, someone who is a business owner, someone who is a patriot, and someone who is a father. I try to tie all those things together when giving my perspective, because I feel like those are basically my core values, and that's how I identify myself. I identify myself as a father, as a patriot, and as a healthcare provider. And if I can give you my perspective on those things to help improve your life, improve the life of your family members and the future generation, then I call that a win. Okay. We're going to keep it short and sweet today. This is basically my sample run for the show. That TikTok video, I will have that linked in the comments below. Again, don't go to this person's page and bash them. I'm happy that they're feeling better. I pray that they continue to be curious and find out why their immune system is hyperactive. I pray that they have the ability to stay in remission until they are curious enough to continue to find those answers. It's going to look different for every person. And that's why we have this show. That's why we have our podcast. That's why we make content all the time, is because if we can show this perspective to just at least one more person, that's enough for us. So don't go on that person's page and bash them for their perspective, but just pray that they find the will to be more curious with their health and not just settle. Okay. I hope you guys all have a good, safe weekend. Lena and I are going to the pumpkin patch with my sister and her husband, Carter. So we're going to do that this weekend. Go to the pumpkin patch with Vinny. We're going to pet some animals, so that's going to be super fun. And then I will be back with you guys on Monday morning. I'm ideally trying to get this episode recorded, I don't know, roughly by 6:30. So that way it's uploaded closer to 7. Thing is, my upload speed at the clinic is not the greatest, so we're going to have to start fixing that so I can get this thing uploaded and kind of out and going by 7 o'clock, so you guys have a chance to listen to it in the mornings with your cup of coffee or tea or whatever you like to drink in the mornings. Ideally not energy drinks. There are no sponsors to this podcast, at least yet, but I kind of like that because I can speak my mind without having to hold back on anything at all. So everything that you hear from me is 100% my thoughts, my feelings, and organically myself. I appreciate you all for listening today, and I will see you all on Monday. Peace.